nothing else matters. My feet in the stirrups, I'm so happy. There's nothing like the sound of Carolina hoofbeats.
Hi, I'm Rose Cushing, host of Carolina Hoofbeats TV. From all of us at Cushing Media and my buddy Dunnett here, we'd like to thank you for watching for the past 3 years. We're very proud to be North Carolina's very first and only weekly TV show devoted entirely to the equine industry. Join us each week as we explore horse-human relationships. Dunnett and I never miss an episode, and I hope you don't either.
Welcome to Martin County in northeastern North Carolina, located halfway between Raleigh and the Outer Banks.
Martin County's got art.
Great shopping.
Great churches.
Great kayaking.
Great business opportunities.
Great food.
NASCAR.
Great golf.
Great medical care. The Bob Martin Ag Center.
Safe communities.
Great RV camping.
Great nature trails. Great history and heritage.
Martin County has great schools.
And there's great fishing. Well, there you have it. Martin County. It's all here. We're waiting for you.
Hi everyone, my name is Tammy Thurston and I am the director of Martin Community College. I also work at Thurston Quarter Horses where I train horses and work with clients, youth and amateurs. This is Carrie Stewart. She is our latest addition to the program. She's the new instructor here at Martin Community College, and I'd like to introduce to you Gator. Gator is one of our college stallions and he's going to be assisting us today in our program. So what we're going to talk about today is grooming. And for some of you that might seem like a relatively simple subject, but actually it's so important. And the reason it's so important is because the horse's largest organ really is his skin, his hair coat. And so we need to make sure that we take really, really good care of our horses. One of the first questions that I ask my students is, what does good horsemanship mean to you? And a lot of them will say to me, well, Miss Tammy, it means that you can ride a horse really well, that you can sit up there just perfectly in your equitation, that you can jump 2-foot fences. And they have a lot of answers, and those are all really good answers. But to me, horsemanship starts with something much more simple, and that is being a good horseman by caring for our horses. So that's what we are going to talk about today. And we're going to start off with some really simple material and then move to some things a little more complicated that deal with grooming. So the first thing we're going to talk about is just overall grooming. In general, brushing, that type of thing, like the day-to-day type of grooming that you're going to do on your horse. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to be pretty organized anytime you're working with your horse. You want to be in an area that is allows you the opportunity to be able to get out of the way just in case something happens. So for me, I'm working on this side, and if something would happen, I have an open space over here. I can easily move away from this horse and get to safety. The other thing is that you want to make sure actually that when you are working with your horse, that you stay relatively close to them and that they always know where you are at all times. Safety is of the utmost importance. I don't care if you have the most gentle, quiet horse in the world and they would never intentionally hurt you, it's just really important because they might go to stomp at a fly and your foot might be in the way. So you always want to be really aware of where your horse is and where you are, and know that they're a large animal and that accidents do sometimes happen. So you want to make sure that you have on proper footwear. I know when I was a kid, I look back and I think about, I was at the barn, I had flip-flops on, bare feet, a bathing suit, and that was great, but thank goodness I didn't lose any toes in the process. So you just want to make sure that you at least have safe, proper footwear. It's also a good idea if you'd like to wear a helmet when working with horses. They're not just for riding, but that's an additional safety measure that you can add to the equation. For today, I'm going to start with this. And I like this also because it has the handle, because you don't want to keep dropping your curry comb, having to be messing around their feet. You want to have this and you want to stick that on your hand and make sure that, you know, you can get through this rather quickly. So what I generally try to do is I always start at their neck and I work my way back. And you wouldn't think that there is a right way to probably curry your horse, but there really is. And I guess the best way you can think about it is when you brush your hair, you brush it downward and you go with the grain of the hair. And what if you brushed your hair upwards? That wouldn't be very comfortable, and it would just, you know, probably you would get your brush tangled and all. So there is a method for brushing horses too, and there are a couple different ways to do it. Everybody has their preference, and I'll show you a couple different options, and then I'll show you probably what not to do. That's something that your horse maybe wouldn't appreciate as much. Generally, you want to start up by their throat latch, and what I like to do personally is I like to start in one spot and I like to work in a circular motion. Now, most horses are going to love this because this feels like a massage to them. And I'm just going to work a section at a time, and you can even see all the hair that's coming off of him. And I'm going to maybe go back and work another section, but I want to make sure that I don't miss one point on this horse. And I like to go in that circular motion. Now, some people take their curry comb and they'll just kind of brush the horse like this with the grain of the hair. And that's okay. And then I've seen some people that put a curry comb on each hand and they'll curry with two. And that's great because it's just twice the brushing that your horse gets. Currying is really important because it helps bring the natural oils to the surface, and it just helps. It's kind of like a natural way of moisturizing your horse's hair coat. So you can also just brush in a straight line, and that works really well too. But what you don't ever really want to do is you don't want to go against the grain of the hair. That's just not going to be very good for your horse's hair coat. It's going to make it look rough and uneven, and it's probably just not as comfortable for the horse. So I'm going to work my way all the way around this horse, making sure not to miss any spots. Now, if you're like me, I'm a little on the shorter side, and so sometimes the horses that I ride, they can be up to 17 hands tall, and it can be a little difficult to reach up there on their rump. So you want to make sure if you need a step stool or something to help you reach up there. As long as your horse is comfortable with that, you can use a step stool, or you can get someone to reach up there for you, but you want to make sure that you get all the way up on top of their back, especially where the saddle is going to go, their rump, get all that hair, and just go over the whole horse.
My name is Scott Brookins, and I am the owner of Brookins Construction and MD Barn Master of the Carolinas. At MD Barn Master, we have the best warranty in the business. We have a variety of designs to choose from. Our barns are easily customizable to meet your needs. We have financing available to those who qualify. Our barns are fire resistant and they hold their value with little maintenance. Let us build your dream barn for you today.
So then the next step is you've got all that turned loose. You want to go through with what we call a body brush, and there's a stiff body brush and a softer body brush. And what you can do is you can take your stiffer body brush and you're going to use it kind of in a flicking motion, and that's going to take and flick all that dirt, all that hair off of your horse. All that you brought up with your curry comb, you're just going to flick that off. So we're just going to flick all that dead hair, that dead skin off of your horse. You can then go back with your softer brush And this just kind of puts the polish on your horse. Nice soft brush to smooth that hair and get in there one more time. Next, that brings me to brushing out their mane and their tail. If any of you have your mom brush your hair, you know that if your hair is really tangly and she goes to brush it, it can be very uncomfortable. Or if you brush it yourself, it's very uncomfortable. So we don't want to just rip through the horse's mane and tail. We want to make sure that if they're really matted up and really dirty, that we would wash it first, or that we could use some kind of product that would help us make that hair a little silkier and easier to brush through. And so we'll go with, this is kind of like a show sheen, and so we can use this on their mane and their tail to help get kind of like a detangler, get some of those tangles out. This is also a product called Healthy Hair Care that I just love. And any similar type of product that has some oil in it that you can put on their mane or their tails, and then overall they're on their whole body, this stuff is really great too. So we'll just, actually I'm gonna go ahead and use the Healthy Hair Care because it's really great for brushing through manes and tails. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray some of this on his mane. And then I'm gonna take a brush. Now you can use a comb or a brush, and I do have a comb here, but I like the brush a lot better because I think that it goes through the hair a lot more easily. So what I want to do is I don't want to start at the top and kind of rip my way through. I want to start at the ends and work my way up so that I can slowly get all the tangles out. So I'm going to kind of start there at the end, and I'm going to work my way up. The tail is the same concept. Again, you can use a show sheen type product or something like the Healthy Hair Care. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and spray a little bit of this on his tail. And then I want you to notice where I'm standing. I'm not standing directly behind this horse because, again, he's a sweetheart. He would never intentionally hurt me. But if he went to kick at a fly, I could possibly be in the way and he would accidentally kick me or maybe step on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand off to the side and bring his tail around to me. And same thing, I want to start at the bottom and then I'm going to work my way up. One thing to remember with your horse and grooming, having a good hair coat and a good condition, or having your horse in a good condition, it oftentimes starts with what they're eating. So you want to make sure that your horse is getting fed on a regular schedule and they're getting a feed that's appropriate for them. And hay. Hay is the most important thing. You want to feed them the best hay that you can afford to. To me, hay is actually a lot more important. They need a lot more foliage than they do a grain. So you want to just make sure that they are having plenty to eat and that they're on a good diet for them. And that's really basically all we have for grooming today. I hope you enjoyed it.
I'm David King with 5K Arena. This is my wife, Ivy King. We put on sorting, pennings, and cuttings. I'm going to let my wife talk to you about the type of feed we use from Mule City Feed.
We called Paul up with Mule City Specialty Feeds about 5 years ago. He was absolutely wonderful to work with. We had a need to fill because our commercial feed had just gotten higher and higher and our feed bill was through the roof. He helped us mix a feed that was exactly what we were looking for. Our horses have stayed fat and shiny, had plenty of energy without losing their minds, and we couldn't be happier.
Okay, we're going to visit for a minute about tying our horses up in the high line. The reason I use the high line, especially with the younger horses that may be prone to pull back or get bothered, is one, I don't have a wall in front of them, which really inhibits a young horse and really gets them bothered. And 2, if I tie this rope on here, at the normal height I would tie a horse, where he can't, is less likely to get a front leg over it. Okay, the way the horse's body's built and the structure is they can line their body up, line their skeleton up, and sit back and apply their muscles and pull back, and they can pull somewhere in the area of 4 times their body weight. Okay, so a 1,000-pound horse can sit back here and pull 4,000 pounds of pressure on this rope. There's a lot of equipment won't stand 4,000 pounds of pressure. That's why we see broken halters, broken snaps on lead ropes, broken lead ropes pulled so tight at the knot that you have to cut them, you can't untie them. That's what happens when we tie at eye level with a horse. When I tie high, when that horse sits back to pull, he can only sit back and pull with about 2/3 or 3/4 of his body weight, or his feet start sliding forward. He starts picking himself up off the ground. So a 1,000-pound horse can only pull back with about 750, 800 pounds of pressure. So to me, there's a big difference between pulling back with 800 pounds of pressure, which most of our tack will withstand, or pulling back with 4,000 pounds of pressure, which our tack doesn't withstand. Also, by having the high line, my horses can go forward to get out of trouble.
If you're interested in a career working with horses, then Martin Community College is the place for you. MCC's Equine Technology program is the only one offered among North Carolina's 58 community colleges. The program is management-oriented with classes in breeding, nutrition, training, riding, equine health, and more. Graduates can leave MCC prepared to work in recreational and racing barns, breed to discipline-oriented farms, or assistant farm management. For more information, contact Martin Community College today.
Hi, we're here with Kim McNabb. So good to have you in Raleigh this weekend. Tell us a little bit about your Horsemen Within principles for training.
Well, thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here. What I did is in my training program, I started thinking about how do I express to people that really they are the trainer they want to be. Well, it's inside of us, just like it's inside of our horses. Okay, we look at a colt and like a carver looks at a block of wood. And we say, that horse can be what I want him to be, and all we have to do is bring him out. Well, it's the same thing with us as trainers. We can be the trainer we want to be if we dedicate the time and the effort to doing it. If we dedicate the time to knowledge, then that trainer is already inside of you. That horseman is already inside of you. Do the work it takes to discover where he is at or where she is at and bring it out. So that's really the concept, and with that comes a phrase that you don't hear as much, but that is the core of those principles, and that is no regrets horsemanship.
Right.
No regrets horsemanship means, as I'm struggling to become this trainer, as I'm striving, I guess is a better word, I don't want to do something that's going to leave me regretting what I did. I want to know that my horse and I are both going to be better at the end of the day than they were when we started, and that we'll all be calmer and more relaxed. That means I can't do anything I'm later going to say, man, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
Right.
Do you still make mistakes? Do you still say that? Yes, but you breathe those cores into yourself, no regrets, and you make less of them.
Right. Now, you have a sale once a year with horses that you've trained for people, don't you?
Yes, we do. First Saturday in June every year, we have a ranch horse sale, ranch/trail horse sale, and we'll have about 100 head of horses in that sale. It is one of the few sales in the world, really, that has a 30-day satisfaction guarantee.
Right.
If you don't like your horse, you can bring him back to us, and we will give you a credit for another horse that you do like. We don't give cash back, and here's the reason why. It's too easy to get caught with buyer's remorse. And somebody bought a horse, they spent too much money, and they want their money back. Okay, I feel for them, but that's not what we're doing.
Right.
But at the same time, we will work with every customer, and I will personally work with them to try to find them the horse that's going to work with them. So it works out really well. It's been a good program for us for the last 5 years. This will be the 6th annual. And we have lots of satisfied customers all over the world. It's been a lot of fun.
Very good. And I certainly watch your show every Sunday on RFD. I'm sure
Thank
our
you.
viewers do too. Tell us a little bit about making the show. What's that been like?
Well, as you yourself know, making the show is always we got to have a topic, and we got to have a topic for next week. So there's always oh my word, what are we going to do for topics? But it's been really fun. We've been on RFD TV for 8 years. And the audience has got the privilege to watch my children grow up. My oldest boy is 14. He was 6 when we started.
Right.
They've watched him go from little kid to maturing young man. And we have developed just great friendships with people all over the United States, all over the world. It airs in Europe. It's fantastic to know that people are watching and that we're able to help them in some way. So what we do is we try to take topics that we think are going to be important to American horse people. I do some series. Mostly I try to do things that are fun to watch and relevant to you.
Right.
We try to ride where it's relevant for you to ride. So a lot of our shows are shot in the great outdoors of Wyoming because you don't all ride in little tiny arenas. So we want to get out and do the show where it is going to work for you, where you're going to say, hey, that, I can take that out and work with my horses outside. That's going to be fun. I can do that. So those are core values that we use in building the show. And of course, then we always come back to saying, the show has to actually promote our real core values, which we made a t-shirt several years ago and we've sold a lot of them. And I love the slogan. It's God, family, America, horses. What more is there?
Absolutely.
And that's our core values. We put God and family and then our country and then our horses. And the best case scenario is when we can enjoy all four together. That's really that's a neat environment then.
Of all the topics that you've covered, what do you think is the most demanded topic that you talk about?
Well, surprisingly enough, it's still colt starting. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's a little like NASCAR, and it's the enjoyment of watching with the element of risk. Because frankly, most people don't start their own colts, but it's still the one that people want to see. Right after that is developing communication with your horse in the saddle. Anything that's going to allow me to ride safer on the trail, people are going to say, boy, that's what I want.
Right.
And then followed there, again, would be increasing my horse's performance in the arena in front of the judge. So kind of in that order, which always surprises me. I always think it should be the other way around, that colt starting should be the least of what we see because it's the least done. But people love to watch that relationship built.
And I think everybody dreams about breaking their own horse. You know, I mean, whether you realistically will ever do it or not.
We're all Alec Ramsey on the beach with the black.
Yeah.
In our heart and our mind somewhere, we want to feed that horse seaweed out of a turtle shell and have him come to love us.
That's right, absolutely. Well, how can people reach you?
They can find me easily at kenmcnab.com. And they can join our membership club there, which gives them access to all of our ancient historic archives of television shows, last 8 years of television. All of our video collections are on there. They can also call our office, so kenmcnab.com or 307-645-3149.
All right.
That's our phone number. They'll get a hold of one of our girls in the office and ask any question you want, from horses at the sale to upcoming clinics.
Okay, that sounds good. Do you have anything else in our area in the immediate future?
We will be in Yadkinville, North Carolina in October.
Okay.
So that's our next time back to this country. It'll be our 3rd year there, and man, we love it. It's a great week, incredible facility. We have a ton of fun up there.
Okay, very good. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, my name is Nathan Shuttleworth and I am part of the 4-H Cumberland County Horse Club Thunderhooves. Today I'll be talking about what to take on the trail. It's important to know what you're going to take on the trail, so if you have an emergency with horse or rider, you know you have the right emergency tools for the right emergencies. So you should always take water bottles just in case you get dehydrated. You can always take snacks like this, easy on-the-go snacks like snack bars or trail mix is easier for the trail ride. Always take a lead line and halter, so just in case your bridle breaks or you have to lead another horse or you have to tie up your horse on the trail ride. You can also take a hoof pick, so if you're on a rocky mountainside, you can always reach down and scrape off the rocks out of the horse's hooves. You always need to bring an original or copied current Coggins so that if you get pulled over by a ranger, you have the right documents and you don't get fined. Then you can always take some fly spray for those really hot summer days when the flies are really bad out there, especially in deep forest. Then you can take sunglasses and sunscreen just in case for eye protection and skin protection. You always need a horse and rider first aid kit, so if you have a bad emergency or an injury, you can always help. You can also take a string, like I have hay string right here. You know, say string or leather for tack repair, like anything breaks, your stirrup falls off, etc. And you can also always take a cell phone in case of emergencies. And while you're on the trail, here are a few important rules to remember. Never run past other riders on the trail. It may cause bad, dangerous things to happen like bucking or spooking. Always stay with the group and never just wander off without permission. Always keep a good space between each horse so that you know when you have a good amount of space between. And always tie a red ribbon in the tail of a horse that kicks so the rider behind knows to keep a good amount of space. And the most important rule of the trail is leave the trail with no trace. What comes on the trail leaves the trail. Leave only hoof prints. Thanks for joining us today. Have a nice day.
This is Paul Dunn from Mule City Feeds. We've been delivering horse feed to eastern North Carolina since 1981. And not only have we been delivering it, we've been leading the industry so far as compliance with state North Carolina and giving the best quality product possible. We test everything that comes in from the local farmers. We do quality assurance and we deliver the product. Give us a chance. Your neighbors giving us a chance. We'd like to have your business here at Mule City Feeds. Also, when you deal with the big feed companies, you might have to wait 4 or 5 days just to get the feed. Give us a call and you'll be shocked we'll deliver in an hour.
Partner with us as we explore the horse-human relationship. Curl up with something you love, an issue of Southeast Hoofbeats magazine. Available in print at select locations or read us online.